Welcome back, friends. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to paint a beautiful summer sky. By the end of this tutorial, you will be able to create a lovely background capable of bringing your artwork to life. In the last lesson, we went through the process of painting a beautiful foggy morning. Some of you showed me your results and I was amazed by the gorgeous backgrounds you painted. I can't wait to see what you create following today's tutorial. Today, you will learn how to paint a sunny summer sky, the kind that brightens up your day with just a glance. Are you ready? Let's do this! Remember that I've created these color swatches for you to use, but you're welcome to choose your own colors. I'm going to use the bucket tool to fill the whole canvas using the darkest hue from the color swatches. Our goal is to create a gradient in the sky like we did in the previous tutorial. Here's why we start with the darkest color first. The upper part of the sky will always be darker than the lower parts of the sky, even if the sun is shining bright at the top. The explanation is simple. To our eye, the top of the sky is closer than the horizon. Have you ever looked at the horizon and noticed that the mountains look oddly blue? But if you go to the mountain, it's not blue at all? That's because the further an object is from our side, the more it blends with the colors of the sky and the rest of its surroundings, and the less saturated and defined it looks. That's how you can create depth of field in your artworks, by ensuring that the elements that are closer to the camera are more saturated, more defined, and more detailed than those that are farther away. That's also the reason why you need to paint the clouds at the top of the sky bigger and brighter than those near the horizon. The ones near the horizon are very far away, which usually lets us see more clouds, but they look smaller. That's why the top of the sky is darker than the part closer to the horizon. I know I just painted a cloud, but let's focus on the sun first. If you don't decide where the light source is before anything else, you're likely to make mistakes when shading the clouds or get confused about where the light source is and where the shadows should go. I've decided to put the sun in the top left corner of the canvas, but you can place it wherever you want. I've created a new layer and I've set it to luminosity mode so that anything I paint will be super shiny. Using the airbrush and a light orange color, I start painting a circle in the corner. Now I'm using the water tool or any blurring tool you have at your disposal to blur it and make it look like a soft glow. After that, I use the airbrush tool again using an orange color to add a bit more warmth to the sun. Finally, I choose a white color and create the inside of the sun. If you want to have some sun rays coming out of the sky, you can do so by using the pen with the minimum density set to 0%. That way, the tablet will recognize the pen pressure and make a beautiful fine line. To make it shine even more, you can use the airbrush with a very low opacity and size and go over each sun ray. Lovely, no? I taught you a way to paint clouds in the previous tutorial, but this is another method and it's even better. Painting clouds this way is the most fun thing ever. What I told you is also the reason why you need to paint the clouds at the top of the sky bigger and brighter than those near the horizon. The ones near the horizon are very far away, which usually lets us see more clouds, but they look smaller. They're also not as bright as the ones near the viewer because they follow the same rule above. Distant elements are less defined and blend in more with their surroundings. It's time to start painting the clouds. You need to choose the marker tool. It should be located right below the pen. Now you need to set it up properly to create the right effect. So, set the hardness to the maximum. It's the rectangular option. The minimum size needs to be set to 0%, density needs to be 100%, the texture should be spread, and last but not least, the blending and persistence settings need to be at around 40 to 50%. I like to do this using a semicircular pattern movements with my hands. The more pressure you use in your strokes, the brighter the color will be. If you use softer strokes, it will be more transparent. and have less opacity. The sun is at the top of the sky, which means that the upper part of the clouds will be brighter than the bottom part. Remember that the clouds at the top should be bigger and use up more space than the ones at the bottom of the canvas. Since they are farther away, we can see more clouds, but they are smaller and less detailed than the ones at the top. If you've painted something too bright, you can choose a blue color similar to that of the sky or a bit softer, and paint the bottom of the clouds to make it look more realistic. Now that we've painted our sky and our beautiful clouds, it's time to bring the characters to the front and center of the piece. It's time to add the last touches to make sure they look like they're in there, enjoying the beautiful clear skies. Place the characters above the layer containing the clouds. Now create a new layer and set it to luminosity. We're going to use the airbrush to illuminate the characters and create some sunshine. Set the airbrush to have the minimum size set to 100% and the density set to 20 to 25%. Now choose an orange hue and start airbrushing over the characters. Follow the direction of the sun rays to make it look more natural. You can airbrush from the sun to the characters in a swift movement. If something looks off to you, use the water tool at 100% density to blur it and adjust it as you see fit. Now we're going to create a few sun rays. To do this, we need to use the brush tool set to a relatively small size. We don't want to create huge sun rays now, do we? The minimum size needs to be set at 100% and the density to around 20%. We want the edges of the sun ray to be clear, but the overall opacity to be low so that they look like light rather than weird things in the sky. To paint each sun ray, make sure you follow the direction of the sunlight. Imagine the sun is a perfect circle. The sun ray needs to start in the middle of the circle. If you misalign the sun rays, it won't look natural, so be careful when painting the sun rays. You can paint them in a different layer, also set to luminosity, if you're worried about messing it up. The sun rays can reach as far as you want, granted that there are no objects blocking it. If you want to make the sun ray dissipate after a while, you can use the water tool to blur the end of the sun ray. Now, the blue of the sky will reflect on the characters. To create this effect, you can use the airbrush with a blue or a purple hue and low opacity to paint the areas where the light doesn't reach. And to top it all off, we're going to create some sun glare. Create a new layer and also set it to luminosity. Choose the brush tool and set the stabilizer to 0%. Minimum size to 100% and with a simple circle texture. The rest of the settings should be below 20%. Now draw circles near the sun rays, or if you're feeling rebellious, add them wherever and add lots of them for the heck of it. Now choose the eraser tool with the soft edges setting and reduce the minimum size and density to around 50%. I want you to erase the inside of each sun glare circle very softly, leaving only the outside, kind of forming a gradient. Make sure your brush is smaller than the glare or you will erase the outside as well. And you're done! Congratulations on painting a beautiful sunny sky for your artwork! Next week, you're going to learn how to paint a sunset scene, so stay tuned for that! I've created a checklist of the steps you need to take to create the perfect sunny sky. Click the link in the description below to get it, and you will make sure you never forget a step when painting your background. I'm also giving you my color swatches to make it easier for you to practice. You will also receive early access to next videos before I publish them on my channel and get access to my entire library of free resources for artists like you. Awesome! Now I want to hear from you. Let me know what you think of this tutorial. Do you struggle to paint backgrounds or do you love it like I do? What tutorial would you like to see next? And as always, if you like this video, please leave a like. If you have feedback, feel free to leave a comment and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you all next week. Bye!